Hello everyone, welcome back to GeoGuessr Explained. I'm going to be playing two seeds of GeoGuessr, one on No Moving, one on NMPZ, and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to guess correctly, how to guess close, and what the pro thought process is. So loading into the first one here, there's immediately a lot to go off of here. Let's get into it. So, first things first, we're on No Move. We've got a very wide road here. It doesn't seem to have road markings, which is interesting, but not too out of the ordinary for many parts of the world, to be honest. The thing that my eyes are immediately drawn to is this pole here. It kind of forms like a big A, and it's made of concrete with these like sections between. So that is called the Argentina pole, but it does exist, I believe, in Italy, Albania. Where else have I seen it? It is possible around Eastern Europe as well, maybe Turkey. And it is also very occasionally possible in Uruguay, maybe elsewhere in South America. But it is the Argentina pole, and that should be your default guess with it. We see next to it a wooden pole. A lot of poles in Argentina are wood, and then just a standard concrete round pole. A lot of the poles in Argentina are also that. We have also these thick, kind of almost dark blue signposts here. And yeah, that's something you do see in Argentina as well. So that pretty much confirms the country. We also have this lamp, which is kind of saluting over the road. And I would also call that one pretty Argentinian. These are not the best examples. I would say if they're not fully bent, instead a bit more rounded, then that would be even more Argentina. But yeah, these ones are perfectly Argentinian for sure. 2025 coverage, okay. It feels pretty north here with this red brick architecture, I could say. But that's certainly not a guarantee. But it also feels a bit tropical. What could I point to for that fact? Why do I think that? Because it might not be. We don't, like, Argentina Central is pretty unforgiving. There's not a lot that distinguishes the far north stuff from the far south stuff. Road angle could be nice here. It is actually perfectly north-south, so maybe we're actually in Chaco, which is a place that has a lot of north-south roads. There are other zones as well, but I don't know if they've recovered some stuff in Chaco. Perhaps they have. Because Chaco, they didn't send the Google cars there for quite some time, but maybe they've been back. I don't know. I'll make that guess. I do think it's pretty northern here. If I'm wrong, then it's probably just something like Santa Fe, Cordoba, something like that. Yeah, I don't see anything else here. So, it doesn't really look like Chaco, though. I don't know, but the problem is the north-south grid. I'm just going to go here. And it was Chaco. Just about. Okay, next one. We have a very cool meta here. So, starting off, wide road, yellow inner lines here. They look white, but they're actually yellow for sure. Actually, the white line could be a clue in itself here. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we have like a little white line with mostly yellow lines. These tiny white lines are actually a clue for this province. And as you could tell by the fact I said province, it is going to be Canada, not the United States. And honestly, just this pole alone is enough. So we've got it's like we've got a really long crossbar, two insulators here, one on the right. And then we've got one on the left and two on the right. And then we've got two on the left and one on the right. So they alternate which sides they're on. I think you can see that in the US. But it's definitely easily most common in Saskatchewan. And if you see it in Canada, it should just be Saskatchewan, rarely Manitoba. Here we have, okay, they're not useful, but the thick white signpost that's painted white, yeah, that's going to be Canada, not US. Pretty much impossible in US when it's painted white, I would say. And these tiny white lines are going to be Saskatchewan and rarely BC and Yukon. So that's very nice. Also, maximum on the speed sign instead of speed limit. Okay, we have a lot of trees here, which leans me further north in Saskatchewan. Let's check the road angle here. It's north-south, which is obviously very typical. Yeah, I mean, you can see so many trees south, but if I see proper, like, forest things, then I would be sending north here. And it is south. It did kind of look like Manitoba, to be fair. Maybe like, this is the Aspen line. You can see where it turns dark green along here where I've got my mouse. That's the Aspen line. Maybe they weren't properly aspens. I don't know. It did kind of vibe down like down near here, but I don't know. With that many trees, I would normally go further north. Not the best start here in terms of the region guesses, but that's okay. Next one here. Short antenna on the car. So immediately thinking Europe because of that, as we've been over before. Purple flowers, like kind of tall purple flowers like this, makes me think it's a colder climate. However, We see two wooden poles stuck together here with a blue tack on it. So this blue sticker thing, it's going to be French, and that's pretty consistent. You can see them in Australia too, and a few other places around the world, but for Europe, should just be France. I've got a Renault here, blue on the left, slight amount of blue on the right. You can barely see it here, but yeah, that is a French that is a French license plate. Also, long dashes in the center of the road here. So UK and France tend to use long dashes in the center rather than shorter ones. Like, this is pretty long for a central dash. You will also see the long center dashes in Portugal sometimes, in Denmark sometimes, occasionally in Spain. That might be towards the end of the countries where you can realistically see it. I think so. But yeah, those countries, you can see that. And we got red-tipped bollards here, which is also... These are like the more alpine French bollards. So that makes sense why we see these like cold climate flowers here. So I'm thinking we're over, like with these trees, spruce-ish looking trees, maybe even some larches here. I would be thinking in towards Geneva, something like that. Also, reddish road can make sense for like near Dijon. So I would think in these roads here makes the most sense. We're going to go in northwest, so not really the angle I wanted to see, to be fair, but obviously there's a lot of roads in here. It's very dense coverage, so not the end of the world for where we want to guess. And it was there. Nice. Yeah, I mean, France is very fun because once you pick up the vibes, it's very achievable to get guesses like this, I would say, especially if you're in a hilly bit. Next one here, we are immediately looking at some square concrete poles, so that's useful. All white road lines, so thinking Europe potentially here. We've got an antenna again, so European antenna, especially because it's short. We've got this wooden fence, and yeah, these houses are made of brick, but this roof looks very Soviet, I would say. This wooden fence looks very Soviet, bright painted color for a wooden fence. And then this color roof is also pretty uncommon in Europe, I would say. And yeah, obviously the A-frame concrete pole with no holes in it is also European. I mean, is also Soviet, generally speaking. Bollard is like generic European, which you can see in Russia, and I do think we are in Russia here. Can I see any 100% meta, though? I think this is a rare Russia with no 100% metas. I mean, we do see the pedestrian crossing with the yellow border, which is easily most common in Russia. You can see it in Romania, too. And boom, we've got a bus stop here, guys. This bus stop with the rounded edge is only found in Lipetsk Oblast. Oh my gosh. Already using a bus stop after I learned it the other day. This is poggers. Yeah, so we're going to be in Lipetsk here. But you could definitely just get this latitude because we got a bit of red brick, which definitely leans south in Russia. As you can see, we're still in the southern part. And we have a lot of birches as well. This is a big birch here, big white trunks. And so that is generally speaking not going to be found south of Volgograd, at least not many. So if you see a forest of them, you can definitely say you're not going to be south of Volgograd. But yeah, I mean, with this many, it could still be. Yeah, okay, well, we're going to pick up our 3 points in Lipetsk here, I think. Let's go in, I'm going to make a 5k guess here, guys. I'm not seeing the angle, though. Low key. Oh, this road. Turn me up. We're right here. 100 k's away. It was Lipetsk. Oh, did I guess? No, I guessed in Tambov. That is actually crazy. Okay, next one here. Ooh, very low quality coverage. 2023 copyright. Why 2023? Let's have a look around here. We got banana plants, coconut palms. Yeah. Very tropical. Some interesting plants here. This I don't even recognize at all. We don't have much going on here. 2023 copyright, is that true? So obviously it's very low quality here. I think the default guess would be India, which I would fully understand. However, I think this is actually Sao Tome and Principe. Am I tripping? Maybe. One, the quality is especially low, maybe even lower than India. Look at this zoom level. Two, we've got this little light patch on the side of the road, which is something I think I've seen on Sao Tome roads a lot. And three, the vegetation is just a bit unfamiliar in general, and it looks a bit African to me. So, and I don't remember this blur honestly being in that country, but maybe they've re-updated it. But 2023 copyright. I thought it was released in 24, but maybe 23 copyright's also possible. It must be. So I'll go here. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think the little thing on the side of the road is legitimately the best clue there. But yeah, after a weak start, we had some strong guesses, so that's good. Okay. Moving on, let's play some NMPZ, the game mode of champions, of course. And let's see how we go. NMPZ. Okay, so immediately hard. Big thing here, guys. Big thing. Okay, US, like Canada, versus Northern Europe can be very tough on NMPZ. This road would be wide enough to be North America. Definitely would still lean Europe, but wide enough. But look at this tree over here. This is a fully grown Scots pine. You can see that the trunk is kind of orange. So that should lean you definitively away from North America. You can see them in North America, but on the balance of probabilities, you shouldn't guess there when you see one of those, especially like a huge one like that, well established, looks very native. Yeah, not going to be guessing in North America with that. Thank you very much. Okay, so whereabouts? Dirt road, very pale soil. You got to think of Baltics. You got to think of like Sweden, Russia, Finland. 2024 here. Not going to be too helpful, I would say. I'm thinking Baltic here, to be honest, but could see Finland working pretty nice as well. Looks very cold. I don't know. There's actually not too much to go for here. It's definitely Nordic or Baltic, but with this many birches and stuff, but I actually cannot tell. Not my favorite area of the world, I guess. Not very fun, in my opinion. If in a tournament, I might hedge Estonia here, but I kind of still think Latvia is the most likely. I think it's Finland, Estonia, or Latvia with the very pale soil like this. I'll go Latvia. And it was Latvia. Very nice. Okay, next one here. So immediately, NMPZ brain, we've got this huge square blur. I don't think we've had that yet on the series. But this square blur is leading us to believe that this is a trekker coverage. And by that, I would normally be in backpack coverage, but trekker cam can also be mounted onto a roof rack. So I think this is going to be a roof rack Google car. And with this landscape and the like white painted at the bottom Soviet trees, only roof rack available is Kyrgyzstan. We've also got a lake to our south. Whenever you see a lake to our south, you should immediately think of Issyk-Kul, which is the largest lake. And we are going east-west here. So that obviously fits really nicely for Issyk-Kul. It also looks fairly unpopulated, which is a little bit concerning to me because I'm just wondering, where do we go west unpopulated? I mean, this is still a divided highway here almost, it would seem. Maybe these days it is and it wasn't before. Yeah, maybe it is actually just over here. Looks like it bends southwest, which definitely could be good here. Actually, this angle's really nice. To our north, we see nothing, which also fits really nicely because obviously to our north here, we just see the hillside. So yeah, I feel like this is the 5K, if not, it's a bit further up. But yeah, with the lake, the main lakes that are covered is this one, which is huge, and this one, which is small. And actually there is some coverage on Songkul as well. Kul means lake, by the way. Okay, let's pick up our 5K points here. Very nice indeed. So I guess it was a, oops, not 5K, but I guess it was not divided back when they did the coverage, but these days it is. Fair enough. Well done. You're developing. Good old Kyrgyzstan. Okay, next one here. Light blue car. 2024 coverage. Very cold. Snow on the mountain. Medium-sized white number plates, I would say. And they're not as long as European ones. Wooden poles. A lot of sheet metal architecture here. Okay, so these very plain white plates would remind me of Chile immediately. The light blue car is also really common in Chile, which we can see here. It's the front of the car, so we can rule out Europe based on that. We've also got a Nissan, which is like, definitely see more Asian cars in Chile. More North American and Asian cars, less European. I would say as a country, they tend to import more from Asia and North America. Very dark soil. Reminds me of like New Zealand, Argentina, Chile. Snow on the mountain obviously fits really nicely. Looks like we might have some eucalyptus in the background. Hard to tell. I was thinking like over here might be eucalyptus. Wooden poles fit. Obviously, concrete's more common. Sheet metal architecture definitely fits, and this style of fence also really fits. So, yeah, I'm very confident here, and it feels quite southern, right? But south of Puerto Montt at this stage in time, or south of Isla Grande del Chiloé, you don't have Gen 4, so this is all Gen 3. So I guess I would go near Puerto Montt here. And it was so far north. New coverage, I think it was 2024. Not familiar with that. A lot of this new stuff is a bit hard for me. But it definitely had to be in the mountains somewhere. Anyway, so Qian can look like that. Next one here. Holy pole, but the holes are not going all the way down to the ground or all the way to the top of the pole. White outer lines. Here, the lack of any inner lines is really making me think Europe. And obviously we do have architecture back here. This red roof with the kind of like indent in it, that indent thing is called a dormer. And it's a very typical of Polish architecture, which is good because I thought this is a Polish pole with the holes not going all the way down to the ground as they typically do in Hungary, Romania. It's also very hilly, and it also kind of looks like Hungary, so I'm thinking we're entering the Carpathians here down south. It looks like when I went to Zakopane, so I think that really fits quite nicely. I think there's nothing else to say here. I think it's a difficult Poland without the house and the pole, but with the house and the pole, should be there. Yeah. Indeed, I drove that road. No, I didn't. I actually did the 66, not the 68. But there you go. Next one. Oh, it's a freebie. It's a freebie. Okay, if you know anything about me, you know I love red roads. This road is exceptionally red. And it's also Gen 2 coverage. And if you have an exceptionally red road with Gen 2 coverage and it's super rural and super rocky, then you should click Åland Islands, which is these ones. They speak Swedish, but they're owned by Finland. So you will see Swedish style lines there. And I can tell you, if you play the game quite a bit, you will start to pick up this area very easily. But the correct guess here, the second correct guess, if we're wrong, I mean to say, we're in Sweden, not Finland, because Finland will never have roads this red outside the Åland Islands, bar some very exceptionally rare exceptions. So let's take our 3 points, and there we go. And yeah, 23,500. Obviously, the Chile definitely let down there because everything else was basically perfect. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.